What's happening, YouTube? Back in the day, Gamer here. Thanks for tuning into my channel for this exciting episode of what I did at the Midwest Gaming Classic 2023. And it's 2023. It still sounds weird. Huh? As always, the Midwest Gaming Classic kicked ass. Had a blast. Pretty sure it was bigger this year than ever. Gets bigger every year, so it makes sense. I'm going to try to cover this in the order things happened. But there's a chunk in the middle that I'm not really sure the order they happened. But I guess I remember most of it. Let's start off by, if you didn't see my video on the upcoming wish list for the convention, this is it right here. This was my wish list. I went prepared, and if I could give you a piece of advice, it would be, well, it would be to go to the Midwest Gaming Classic. The second would be to go prepared with your wish list. Yes, I could have put it on my phone, but I didn't want to feel like that ass that was like looking up prices at everything. So this was just my list of all the Nintendo games I still need. I vowed to pick up 10. Stay tuned. And these were the games from the other systems that I wanted to pick up, which I barely picked up any, but I did pick up some that weren't on the list, obviously. So, day one, Friday. We usually get there earlier. We didn't get there till a little bit later. Checked in right away. John Aguilera, Captain Algebra were blowing me up. We're here, where are you at? We ate right away because we were starving. Then I found my way, I don't know. I found my way into the vendor hall. And we were checking out some stuff, and obviously it's what you do in the vendor hall. The booth that we were at, some friends of mine were perusing other things, so I was going through the Game Boy Advance box that was right in front of me, which has, you know, I've been picking up nothing but Game Boy Advance. I was hoping to go another way, but I scored a handful. So Friday night, I picked up like these 10 games right here. 2 on the Xbox. We got Kingdom Under Fire. Well, I'm not going to slide all the games off that. First we'll go The Dukes of Hazzard Return of the General Lee. Now, I had this on my wish list, but PlayStation 2. Didn't know it was on the Xbox. I loved the first one, which was on PlayStation. And then I got a Dukes of Hazzard 2 Return of Daisy Duke or something. But this is The Dukes of Hazzard Return of the General Lee. Fun fact. When I was 18, I started a business, lived at home, had an answering machine for that business because you had landlines and answering machines. And in the background of my thank you for calling blah 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 message, I played the theme song to the Dukes of Hazzard because it was on the intro to the PlayStation 1 game, and that happened to be the game I was playing. I always thought it was funny as hell. So Kingdom Under Fire, don't know anything about this game, but you know, I'm more swords and sorcery than sci-fi, and this one stuck out to me. I like the way it looked. I believe I've seen it before, but never the game itself. I see now that it says online enabled, so I might have screwed up and wasted $6, but I don't regret it. What that Dukes of Hazzard was this cool $9. I picked up, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 Game Boy Advance games. You know, all this stuff was just in the one group that I bought, so it's all the same, but I'm grabbing them here. One of the better games of the lot is Paperboy and Rampage. Now, I'm a huge Paperboy fan. This version sucks. I believe it's the arcade port, and if you're not holding on to them handlebars, don't like it. But the Rampage on this is banging. Liked it a lot. Rampage is obviously a classic arcade game that we all played back in the day, multiplayer. Love that game. You know, I just don't play it anymore. But now that I have that, I certainly will. And I don't have any footage, but the guy who did the artwork for Rampage and Xenophobe, he's always at MGC, and he's always selling awesome prints, and I'm always like, yeah, I'm buying one this time. Didn't do it. Should have. Next time. We got Peter Pan Neverland. That super sucked. Family Feud. Now this wasn't terrible. The wife likes Family Feud, so I thought, hey, maybe I could get this and trick her into playing little video games with me. I've had other versions of Family Feud, like the one on the Nintendo, and it's terrible. This is the best I've played so far. I don't know if I played the Switch one, but I did like this one a lot. And for a whopping $3, I think I got my money's worth already. Zapper, that game sucked too, you're a mosquito. Pink Panther, Pinkadelic Pursuit. I really like the Pink Panther Goes to Hollywood on Genesis. This is not nearly as good, but I only gave it 2 minutes of play. Maybe if I try it some more, I'll like it better. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what the hell I was thinking here. I guess I must have had, like, Bible adventures on the brain and, you know, spiritual warfare. That black unlicensed cart on the Nintendo. That's actually a good game. I guess I was thinking along those lines, but what is this? The Bible game? I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. Scooby-Doo! This one is the port of the movie, which was better than that game. I didn't give it a lot of try. I didn't like it off the bat. So, you know, we had a lot of games to go through. Got to get this video out super late as always, so we'll give it some play later because I'm a Scooby-Doo fan, but I'm not feeling it too much. But what I am feeling a lot is the best game from Friday night, Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. This is a fucking Scooby-Doo game. Oh yeah, I like this one a lot. It was exactly what I expected and what I would want out of a Scooby-Doo game. Graphics are great, the soundtrack was great, the intro was great. It was just like a Scooby-Doo cartoon. I've been telling myself for a while now, gonna start streaming. I'm at 991 subscribers. Once I hit 1,000, I'm streaming. And that's gonna be the second game I stream, because I've got something planned for the first one. That's gonna be the second one. I'm actually gonna do a halfway to Halloween live stream, which is April 31st, coming up, halfway to Halloween. So, leaving the vendor hall Friday night. Had my fill, time to go party. Hitting up some rooms. Here's where it gets cloudy and we may not be in chronological order. But at one point, found myself in VGM's room, hanging out with those guys, had some fun. At another point, I found myself in Captain Algebra and Gaming Off the Grid's room, which was the highlight of the evening for sure. Captain Algebra forgot to mention in his video about almost getting evicted from the hotel on the first night of the conference. Yeah, he forgot to mention that. I'm thinking he didn't want people to know, but I was there. We were a little too loud, just because we were having fun. Nobody was hammered or anything inappropriate, but he was just chilling, having a couple of beers. By this point, I had had many. But so they were playing like NFL Blitz. Gaming Off the Grid guys brought their modded GameCube, because I remember I was like, the game system you brought to MGC was a GameCube? He's like, it's modded, it's got lots of games, so that made sense. I think I've played GameCube one time, but NFL Blitz looked cool if you're into football. That seemed to be the game. They were getting down on it, having a good time. That's why they were yelling. Security came and they were like, hey, you guys got to keep it down. We must have been in a room next to a family with some young kids, because it wasn't even that late. We weren't really being that loud, but the walls there are thin and the sound carries. I know, because I was in a room with my family and young child, so I know how it is. But, we toned it down a little. Then, a little more drinks were had. The game was getting more heated. While went by, telling stories, getting loud again. They came back. They were really cool. They weren't, like dicks or anything. They were just like, hey, if we have to come back a third time, we're going to start talking about eviction. And that's when I was like, all right. I'm gonna start the trend of helping you guys out by hitting the road. I didn't want to because we were having a blast, and aside from buying games, no, buying games is fun, but the best part of the convention is definitely hanging out with your friends. And when you're in a room, having a good time, playing some games, drinking some beers, chatting with people, that's definitely the best part of the convention. And I was having a blast, and I didn't want to leave, but I also didn't want them to get evicted. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna start the trend, I'm hitting the road. John Aguilera and I walk out the door at the same time. It's like, Room's kind of loud. Close the door behind us. Now it's kind of quiet in the hallway. We both look at each other. It's not too late yet. You know, we're like, should we go to the bar? Like, yeah, let's just go to the bar and have one. That's what we did. But to rewind, came to my mind now what happened. Before the room, I was hanging out in the NES Homebrew room, which is my third favorite part of the convention. It's picking up NES Homebrews, talking to the people that made them, fascinating to me. I don't really want to talk to somebody that made a big game for a big company. Sure, the game's awesome and I love it, but like I want to sit down with this guy who's just like me, who made a Nintendo game, which is what I would someday love to do, but I know I'm not going to because it would just be too tedious and take all the fun out of it. But in theory, it sounds like a good plan. But it's not, and I know that, so I'm not going to do it. But I like talking with people that did and chatting with them, finding out when, why, all this stuff. So I was hanging out in that NES Homebrew room, talking to a guy. Something that caught my eye right away was they had, shit, I forget the name. It's the bowling homebrew, pins, behind the pins, something like that. I don't know. But you can't buy it. Doesn't matter. They didn't make too many. You can't even find one on the internet. And that pisses me off. I think it's called Behind the Pins. It's like a Leisure Suit Larry kind of game, but you're in a bowling alley. Fascinates me. I want it. I see it over there. The guy's like, oh, hey, how you doing, man? I'm like, I want to buy that. It was literally, I was just like, I'm good. I need to buy this game. He's like, oh, my buddy Steve made that game. I'm like, cool. Get Steve. Take my money. He's like, oh, he doesn't have any. It's the only one he brought. I was like, man, you have to be kidding me. Like, what? But so I chat with this guy anyway. This guy made Anguna. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anguna for the NES Zelda clone. Stellar. That may be the best homebrew I've ever played. Chatted with him about it. Kicked ass. Loved it. Chatting with another guy who either they worked together or the other guy was just in it, but that game that's coming out soonish, they said realistically it'll be physically released next year at MGC. Can't think of the name of the game, but it is basically The Princess Bride, but a video game. Like that a lot. Played some other homebrew games, had fun in there. I was like, all right, I'm going to go up to the room, check on the family, grab a drink, walk out the door. There's Tiger Chainsaw and his buddy Lame Dad. Hey, what's happening, guys? Shooting the shit. They're like, they're setting up the stage because he was emceeing the secondary stage. He's like, we got to set the mics up, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'll help you. They're like, oh, we're trying to, gonna get some drinks. I was like, it just so happens that I have some and I'm going up to the room. Went up to the room. Wife gave me the okay to head back out. Angry Baby was hitting the sack. They were watching Moana again. So filled up my flask. Went down there. We got ourselves a bottle of Grape Crush from the vending machine. And we couldn't find any cups. So we just stood in the homebrew room passing around the flask of vodka and the grape pop. And we just killed it all in like a 5-minute time. Just smashed it. Played a little homebrews, chatted, shot the shit. They were going to go score some beer for the next day. It was getting later, but that's when I went up to the room, hung out with everybody, got kicked out. Flashback to John Aguilar and I standing there looking at each other. Do we go to the bar? So yes, we went to the bar. Bar's packed. Just score 2 seats at the end. Super lucky, last 2 seats. Ordered a PBR on tap. They served it to me in a boot. Don't have a picture. Maybe I do. If I do, I'll put it on here. Don't think I do. So by this point, we're chewed. I don't know. I want to say it was midnight, right? Not late, but not early. It's really 1 by my time because you lose an hour going over there. We're talking about kids. My kid's like a year and a half older than his kids, so we were chatting about that amongst other things like video games. But we were having a drunk dad conversation and And then next thing I know, the bartender, who was this giant dude, he's yelling and I'm hammered. Just like, what's this guy yelling? And right then I realized that he's yelling last call. And I realized that I haven't been somewhere when they were making last call in about a decade or so. And I'm also realizing that not only is it 2 o'clock, it's really 3 o'clock. And I have a huge day planned, getting up early in the morning, 4 hours from then. So I was like, oh shit. Yeah, let's call it. So, crept into the room, super quiet like, because sharing the bed with the wife and the kid. which even though it was a king-size bed, still sucked. Crept in, slank into bed all quiet style. Next thing I knew, it was like a punch in the face. Sun fucking beating down on my face, felt all hot. My kid's like, ha 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 ha, and I'm just like, oh God, oh, it's time to get up, isn't it? This is terrible. So that's how Saturday started. Felt really, really rough. Somehow I managed to sleep for a little while they were still up. But then, you know, hey, Dad, get your ass up. Get your lazy fucking ass out of bed. We're hungry. We don't like video games. We don't care. Feed us. So we go downstairs, and the breakfast thing's packed. So I don't know, we killed some time and ended up going into the Miller pub right there at the hotel. And, you know, I was like, I'm getting a Bloody Mary. I feel really, really bad. And whenever I have a hangover, I just suck it up because I did it to myself, right? Like, I don't deserve to take an aspirin or whatever because that's for when you're sick. I did this to myself. I was like, I'm going to have a fucking Bloody Mary. I'm wrecked. I decided against it because I started feeling really bad and I didn't think it was going to help. So I ate. It didn't help. We go back up to the room and I'm like, I got to pull it together. It's time. It's MGC. It's MGC. It's the Super Bowl. We're doing this. So we're heading down. Load up the baby, got my backpack, all that shit. Actually, no, didn't take the backpack because we got the stroller, which holds everything, and that was awesome. But I was like, I got to do a shot. I got to. So I do like a double shot of warm vodka. It was real rough going down. I want to say 120 seconds later, I felt like a new man. I was like, yeah, party MGC, woo! So we go down to the convention, and I think this is my favorite purchase. I had seen it the night before, but I was like, yeah, okay, we'll get at it Saturday. I knew where it was up close. This was the first thing. My favorite pickup of the convention. We'll get some B-roll. My sweet ass 80s rock cup. I know the real Bit Wars is loving this. Yeah. This lady had some stellar cups that she did. Got one for my wife. Got one for a friend. This one's me. As you can see, it's got all of the 80s bands logos you love and a lot of them that you don't know anything about. And I'm confused why Buck Cherry's on here. So from there, winding our way through, I believe my first purchase was down here. I'm gonna move this pile around. Down here at the Master System section. First purchase of Saturday. I want to say morning, but I don't know if it was morning anymore. It might have been afternoon. The one guy that had all the Genesis games, some good ones in rare condition. Good ones in rare condition. He had some rare ones, some good ones, and ones in good condition. No, that's not right. You know what I'm talking about, though. You don't see a lot of Genesis. Did I say Genesis? I'm drinking water. What the fuck is going on? You don't see a lot of Master System. I'm a big Master System fan, so I made sure to hit this up fast first. Should I take a break? Let's take a break real quick here. I fucking love this cup. The Pac-Man lid. She was like, if you don't like the lids, you can switch them out, interchange them how you want them. And I went with the Pac-Man lid, which doesn't really coincide with that, but it had music notes on it, but the guy in the Pac-Man suit's got the Pac-Man lid, right? So, the first games I picked up, that one was later, and it was these four, wasn't it? Whatever, dragging this along. You don't fucking care, you just want to know. I got the case only, start with the boring one, the case only, Ease, Vanished Omens, $20 for the case. I know that. I've wanted that game for a long time. It's pricey. I see it loose a lot, so I was like, fuck, you know what? That's it. That's the way to go. Now I can just eBay it and still be like, I got it at MGC. I needed Golden Axe on the Master System. So this board is not fantastic. Not at all. No, sir. I wanted it for the collection. I don't see it very much, and it was only marked at $20. Now, two of these games were... I know this one, Golden Axe, like they had this one for $20 and there was another one for $30. They're both in the same condition. So I took the one for 20 and I mean it's got two price labels on it, so it's not like it got messed up. It was the beginning of the convention, but score, right? $10 off. You got Alex Kidd in High Tech World, which this game fucking sucks. It's super weird. It's not like any of the other Alex Kidd games. I don't even know. I played it for 5 minutes and just confused as hell. I don't like it, but once again, I say it a lot, but I'll give it some more time. Maybe it will grow on me. But a game I do like is, aside from like Golden Axe Warrior and Golvelius, this is my favorite Master System game, and I had never even heard of it. Dead Angle. So this is your first-person shooter, but on the Master System, it blows away the Nintendo versions of first-person shooters. You know, Operation Wolf is okay on the Nintendo. Punisher's pretty good. This is way better. It controls fantastic. The graphics are way better than the Nintendo ones. I don't know why I didn't have this game before. If I never see it, I probably assumed that it was a Zapper, which, I don't hurry to get those games because I don't have a CRT. So, I still get those games because I want a complete collection because I'm crazy, but this game's fucking badass. Mobster themed, goes from city to city. It was pretty easy. I made it all the way to the end. The first time playing it, I played it for like an hour and was really liking it. Made it all the way to the end, didn't beat it, but I'm going to before I end up cataloging it, put it on the shelf. Dead Angle. Kick-ass Master System game. This goes out of order. This was later on, but since we're talking about Master System, the other Master System game I picked up was one I'd also never heard of, and it was in fantastic condition and caught my eye with the screen art on the back, Quartet. So this game is very different as well. Surprised that I never heard of it. Master System's only got like 175 titles in the US. I've got 100 of them already. I can't recall seeing this one. Now the cover art is terrible. The game itself is pretty solid. It's not the best game in the world, but I had a lot of fun with it. It's strange. It's different. I haven't got that far, so I can't really do a review because I don't know a lot about it, but I do enjoy it and glad I picked it up. So right around this time, we've been walking the vendor hall, running into people, chatting. I had a fucking coffee from the little coffee kiosk they had, fresh ground. Holy shit. Now I quit drinking coffee months ago, and this whole year I've probably had a handful of coffees, so maybe that's why it was so good, but it was fucking good. That was a good coffee. If you were there, you know what I mean. But right around this time, chatting with a bunch of people. I don't want to say people's names because I'm going to forget people. I don't want to be an ass forgetting people, but definitely going to mention this. I want to mention everybody because everybody, new, old, great time, good hanging out with people. But Mega Matt, every time I see this guy, he's got shit for me, and it's like he just knows. Like, back in the day, Gamer loves some fishing games, right? Obviously, you know that. I've got about all of them. So he comes in, he's like, I got something for you. And I'm thinking, like, it's going to be a fishing game, isn't it? Because, like, if he knows me, if he's bringing me something, it's probably a fishing game. He brings me 2 fishing games. And it just happens I don't have either of these. PlayStation, both on PlayStation. This was on my list because when I was doing my due diligence for the convention, making my list, I realized that I had part 1 and part 3, but not part 2. Real Fishing. Now, this one I'd never heard of. How he knew I didn't have either of these, but Bass Landing. Haven't played either of these yet. Can't say. I've played Real Fishing 1 and 3, and those are okay. From the screenshots, 2 doesn't look real great, but I do like the way Bass Landing looks. Matt, thank you very much, sir. Along with that is Angry Baby's favorite pickup of the convention. He gave me this. The fucking PlayStation fishing reel controller, which I've meant to buy 100 times, but I didn't. It's like Mega Matt knew I didn't have it. Also, he threw this in there. I'm not sure if just because of my intro or I've said before, I obviously love Back to the Future, but he gave me a little hoverboard in the box. Bam, Mega Matt, dude. Next time I'm gonna stalk your videos and find the perfect thing to give you. But big thanks, buddy. As much as I love the fishing game and the hoverboard, Angry Baby runs around the house with this, and he's just like, yeah. So I guess I thank you the most for this, because I know I'm gonna love it, and I know Angry Baby already does. Cheers, Mega Matt. I'm gonna start throwing out the names now because I want to mention the people, and if I forget, sorry. Fuck, I didn't script anything. I'm just gonna go with this. First person I ran into Friday night was Freak of Four. Never met him before. We ended up hanging out a bunch. Good meeting you, buddy. Thanks for flagging me down. It was cool. Like, it's like, hey, you recognize me from TV. Fucking shit. I'm like a movie star. No. Ran into him first though. Said hanging out with VGM guys, Captain Algebra, John Aguilera. Those are MGC staples. Mega Matt. Already said Mega Matt. Mega Dan. And Mega Meg. Great to see them again. I chat with Captain often, and Mega Dan, and John Aguilera. Sometimes we're on a Marco Polo, but you know, chatting with people and seeing them once a year, it's always super good. Saturday along, you know, church, Chris Pico, the old ass retro gamer. Oh, fuck. The Real Bit Wars. Fuck that guy, right? He likes balls. If you watched his pickup video, you know what I'm saying. But his buddy, oh fuck, I thought I was having everything lined up and now I'm brain farting. Gaming Off the Grid, when we were hanging out in their room, I met some new people that I've never met before, and that was when we were hammering it. I don't think they have channels, so they were just cool people that I met. Fuck. I knew this was I'm gonna keep going, and then I'll remember, because I feel super bad if I don't mention you. The Game Beaters, what's up, guys? I'm gonna move along, and then it'll all come back to me, because I'm super OCD all over the place. The reason I went there, to hang out with people, to pick up Nintendo games, and to pick up Nintendo homebrews. Now, I'm under 100 left to complete my Nintendo collection, so I was like, I'm picking up 10. I'm gonna whack off. I said whack off. I'm gonna whack off 10% of my collection in this video. Whack off. I'm gonna whack off 10% of what I need on this convention this weekend. So, only came up halfway. I got 6 games. One of them is a repro. We're gonna cover. We'll do that one first, right? So, I had this game on a multi-card or some shit, so I played it before, and I super like it. It's hard as fuck. Everything about this game, though, aside from it being brutally difficult, in some points, not all points, but some points, the slowdown flicker sucks, but holy diver, check out that fancy label. Okay. Maximum recording time has been reached. Start over. We were at Holy Diver, right? Might get choppy right here. Holy Diver. Captain Elder's was like, oh, you're not gonna like that game, it's so fucking hard. Mega Dan hated it. Well, you know, back in the day, gamer might not be the best gamer, but I rocked some shit out. I beat Ghosts and Goblins, okay? I mean, I know it's not... Well, no, it's fucking hard. Ghosts and Goblins is fucking hard. I knocked out Mike Tyson's ass, right? That's tough, too. I'm no slouch. But I am well aware that I'm also no Mega Dan. Either way, I do like this game. You know, it's got the whole heavy metal theme and the names, soundtrack. Love this game. It kicks ass. I wish there was less flicker, but I'm super happy to pick up this copy with the fantastic label. I've wanted it for a while, and now I have it. These were actually the first 2 Nintendo games I picked up. Rainbow Island. That's a game that I see all the time and never pick up because everybody says it's a Bubble Bobble clone, and I don't really like Bubble Bobble. But I felt $35 was a good price, and I knew I was going to bundle some shit going, so we picked that one up right along with the same booth. I, like a jackass, bought this game, but I guess the reason I bought it is so I can say subset complete. That would be none other than Fisher-Price Firehouse Rescue subset complete. This is a fucking terrible game, right? I played through it for the footage here, for my video, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna play through this and beat it so I can say I beat it and never put it in again. And that's what we did. Here's a game that I never wanted other than to put it up there on the wall because I always thought it looked terrible, and I was right. It is terrible. Kicks, quicks, however you say that. I fucking hate this game. Having never played it before, yet seen game footage, I knew I wouldn't like it, and I hit the nail on the head because it plays exactly how I imagined it would. I knew I wouldn't like it, and I don't. And that's all I have to say about that. A game I do like, and I picked up at the same place, we bundled some stuff, RoboCop 3. You know what? Subset complete. Unlike Kicks, I do like this game. It also happens to be the best of the RoboCop trilogy. Why it begins with a baby holding an Uzi or whatever, I don't fucking know. The graphics look good. I like this, RoboCop 1 will always be my favorite of the trilogy because that was the one I played back in the day, so it's got the nostalgia, but this is clearly the best of the three. The controls are okay, but you're clunky, and of course you're clunky. You're a big, giant, heavy mech man. Controls and graphics aside, two things I really like about this game is it's got a really cool power-up mechanic. Once you beat the board, you get points or whatever somehow, and you use them to power up your RoboCop. I thought that was sweet. I like the way that scene looks too, and I also really like that there was boss battles. Of course there's boss battles. There's boss battles in most games. But when there isn't, I hate it. And there happened to be, so I don't hate it. RoboCop 3. Thumbs up. The last Nintendo game I got at Midwest Gaming Classic 2023 is the last cheap common that I need. There isn't a game under $35 left for me to pick up. Now that's not crazy expensive, but back in the day you'd be picking up games for $3, $5 all day long. This game marked at $20, price charted at $21, so I got a deal. The last cheap Nintendo game I will ever buy. With a horrible, horrible name. Let's get at this here. It's written so fucking small. The Billiard Congress of America presents Championship Pool. You want to talk about a shitty pool game? This one right here. Shitty. This game sucks. I don't know why I never had it. Doesn't matter. Have it now. Moving on. I'm parched. I better have a drink out of my sweet ass cup. Okay, so we've covered the Game Boy Advance, the Sega Master System, and the Nintendo Entertainment System. 3 more games here. Hanging out. This one where I was with Megadan and Captain and the Real Bit Wars and fuck yeah, Dad Racer. There's another one I forgot. What's up, Dad Racer? Hanging out with them guys. And I see this game, I was just like, I don't recall ever seeing that game. Didn't even know they made it. Megadan says, that's a sweet game, I fucking played through it. Punisher on the Game Boy. Now right off the bat, I asked the guy how much it is, marked at 22 bucks. Megadan was like, I think that game's like a $40 game. Regardless of how much it was worth, it was marked at 20, had my interest peaked. Boom! $20! Now that game is not nearly as good as Dead Angle, not nearly. The NES Punisher game is better than this. Of course, this is on the Game Boy. Not the same game as the NES one also, which is cool, because now I just didn't buy a shittier version of a game that I already had. But thanks to Megadan for saying that one was good. I was going to buy it anyway, man. You owe me, Megadan! So I was thumbing through all the Famicom, because there's some Famicom I want, and I know a good deal of Famicom. So I was going through the bins and I just have one stuck out. I'm like, oh, that's YY World 2. I have that one. So just like, okay, walked away. And it was like 5 minutes later, Megadan's like, if anybody sees YY World 2, let me know. It was just like, is he fucking kidding? Because like, out of the tens of thousands of video games that are here, like this one was here and it was like down on the ground in a bin underneath. So I was just like, yeah, I literally just saw it. It's right over there. Went over there, boom, he picked it up. You're welcome. He's been streaming YY World 1. Because I know he wants to do them in order, just like me, because we're crazy, right? But 1's not as good as 2. He's probably beat 1 by now, because he's Megadan. So, he's probably on to 2. Don't forget to check out his channel. This game right here, the only Super Nintendo game that I ended up getting, was Ultima, the False Prophet, saw it marked at 15 bucks. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, Ultima game on the Super Nintendo, 15 bucks, that's worth it all day long. Stupid ass already had this game. Anybody looking for Ultima on the Super Nintendo? Want to trade? Want to trade? Final game I picked up. And you know what? I didn't do this on purpose, but this actually was the final game that I picked up. It killed me to not buy it. Oh, I just remembered Megadan made me a promise. I was like, dude, I want to buy this game so bad, but it's loose. It kills me to buy a loose Genesis game. But whenever I see it, it's super expensive. It's only marked at 25 bucks. I'm just like, fuck it, I want it. I'll deal with it, right? Like, so I picked it up, walk over to him, and I say, hey, yeah, check it out, you know, like, just picked it up. And he was like, oh, you know what, man? He's like, I've got the case for that. I don't even care. I'll give it to you because I know it's bothering you. So, remember that, Megadan. I got a bunch of doubles and stuff here that we'll go through. We'll make a sweet trade. But that game is none other than Rambo 3 on the Sega Genesis. Like I said, I wanted this one for a while. Heard good things about it. When I've seen gameplay, liked the way it looked. It's Rambo, right? Run and gun, baby! It was tougher to get used to the controls than I thought. But I acclimated quickly and had fun with it. Like I said, none of these games I've played a great deal of yet, other than, of course, Dead Angle, because I thought it was so awesome. But now it's time to put them in their place and start playing them and relax, because now the MGC video is coming along. At this time of the show, the vendor hall, my big double shot had worn off, and I was feeling fucking terrible again. So I did another shot. Perked me right back up. But man, an hour later when that one wore off, ooh, it was trouble. I was in rough shape. That's a lesson I won't be forgetting soon. I'm not going to say I'll never do it again, because I certainly will. But it did ruin my Saturday night. Also, if I didn't already mention it, which I know I didn't, but that footage you got there was, I was like, you know what? Instead of me carrying the camera around and stuff, I'm just gonna strap it to Angry Baby's stroller and you get the Angry Baby MGC view. And so I thought that came out pretty good and it was amusing. At least it was amusing to me, and I hope it was amusing to you. So, that wraps it up for my MGC 2023. Unless there's some things I forget and I excerpt them in here. But once again, I had a great time. You know, I had some people hitting up my video like, oh, I don't know, never been to a convention, maybe next year, whatever. Don't hesitate. Go. It's fucking awesome. Well, you get a hotel room, you buy video games, you hang out, you talk about video games. If you're watching this channel, that's what your life is about, right? That's where we're at now. Great time. Loved seeing everybody. Can't wait till the next time I get to see everyone. Mega Matt, thanks buddy, hooking it up again, man. Go to MGC, it's fucking kick-ass. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, oh yeah. Every year, it's in the spring. Be the same time next year. No reason to forget, mark it on your calendar now. Thanks for watching my video, as always. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And until next time, YouTube, keep it retro. Thumbnail.